Welcome to a new segment that I got for the Meet You from the Midwest podcast, and that's called That's My Team. If you don't know, if you've been following my podcast for quite some time now, when it comes to NFL team, the Tennessee Titans is my all-time favorite team right now. I've been a fan of the Titans since, I'll say about 20 years plus, ever since backstory, like I said, when I was younger, I was a Cowboys fan when Deion Sanders and Emmitt Smith and them was winning. That's just usually how it is when you're younger. Seeing the team win so much. Deion Sanders was one of my all-time favorite players. Once he left the Cowboys, and I want to say he retired after that, after a couple years or whatever, the Tennessee Titans became my favorite team. When Steve McNair got to the Houston Oilers, transferred to the Tennessee Titans. Chris Johnson, Eddie George, all them boys. Some of my all-time favorite. My all-time favorite running back for the Titans is Derrick Henry, who we no longer have now. I just wanted to give y'all a little quick rundown on our off season so far. I've talked about on the past couple of podcasts, but I just want to give y'all a little quick breakdown on what's going on with Tennessee Titans. We recently just played our first preseason game yesterday versus 49ers. We won that game by 3, I want to say. From what I saw with the game was Levis put on a little bit more muscle. He was able to get a quarterback sneak in. We seen Pollard and Tajee Spears, both of our new running backs, is going to be playing next year with no longer not having Derrick Henry. I seen both of them get big yards. I know Spears scored a touchdown. The offensive line looked like it could hold up a little bit more from the starters that did play. The defensive line, I didn't get to see much because the dude that we drafted, Sweat, he was out there without Jeffrey Simmons, which is our number one defensive tackle for the year. And the cornerbacks, we didn't play all of our starters. I know we played Roger McCreary. We didn't play Awuzie or Snead, our new cornerbacks. We didn't play Adams and who else was it? Adams and Diggs. We didn't get to play old safeties, man. But overall, we end up winning the game. I seen signs of good. Also, Calvin Ridley. We seen Levis get a pass to him that he turned from a 2-yard to like a 19-yard gain on the third down. So that was good to see. We didn't have DeAndre Hopkins out there. Tyler Boyd was out there for a little bit. That's another receiver we had. Traylon Burks is our returning receiver that we had from last year for 2 years now that hasn't broke out of his shell yet. But overall, man, I can't wait for the season to start. Going into what we lost in the offseason, we lost Derrick Henry. He went to the Ravens. Danico Autry and linebacker Shire, both of those guys went to the Houston Texans, which is a rivalry team. And Sean Murphy Bunton, I'm not sure where he went to, but we end up picking up Tony Pollard from the Cowboys, Calvin Ridley from the Jaguars, Snead from the defending champs, the Chiefs, Awuzie from the Bengals, Diggs and Adams, both safeties from the Seattle Seahawks, and we picked up Tyler Boyd from the Cincinnati Bengals. We drafted well. Like I said last year, our biggest weakness was really on both sides of the field. The offensive line wasn't too good. The offense was mainly ran by Derrick Henry. They know he's going to run the ball as much as we can. They was just laying him out in the backfield because the line wasn't holding up for him to even get started. The wide receivers, we had Hopkins and Burks that really just stayed injured. He was just injury prone. So we only really had one receiver. The defensive line, we just had Simmons because everybody else, and Autry. We had two guys on the line, and the linebackers looked suspect. The DBs look suspect, man. But we fixed all those positions this year. I know they got us at the bottom of the division when it comes to predictions. I disagree, not just by being a fan, but seeing the team and the pieces that we went out and got. I believe that we can win the division. If we don't win the division, we'll finish second behind the Houston Texans. I think that's the only competition in the division. I can see us sweeping the Colts and sweeping the Jaguars. I don't see neither one of those teams being a problem. But as of now, I'm looking forward to the season, man, starting next week. Well, not next week, but next month. I believe that DeAndre Hopkins, he's going to be out. He might miss week 1 or 2, but we'll have him for the rest of the year as long as he stay healthy. He got hurt during training camp. He'll be back. I think he'll be back. He's never been 100%, but he'll be back to 90, 95% when the season come back around. So we should definitely have him out there. Having him, Calvin Ridley, and Tyler Boyd and Traylon Burks if he decides to come out of shell. I believe we have a nice little wide receiver core. The offensive line got better. We got two running backs that can be receiving backs. That's what we definitely needed. Now we could get those two backs out the backfield and be another weapon for Will Levis. I believe Will Levis will throw for 35, maybe 4,000 yards this year. It hasn't been done for quite some time with the Tennessee Titans, but I believe that he'll be the one to do it with all the weapons he got around. He put on a lot of muscle, man. As long as he stay healthy and the offensive line protect him, he don't get to running a little too much. I think the offense will be fine. On the defense side of the field, man, I think Simmons and Sweat, those two dudes right there, that's about 700 pounds in the middle. I could see us slowing down the run a lot this year. The edge, we should be able to get to the quarterback. The linebackers, because we're going to be using Adams as a linebacker this year. We picked up a couple of linebackers, one from the Chargers, Murray Jr. from the Chargers. I think that our linebackers would be okay. But more importantly, a big issue we've been having was the cornerbacks. We've been getting cooked on third down. We've been committing way too many pass interference plays. I believe Awuzie and Snead and McCreary, those three dudes right there will be able to slow down the pass a lot. So I can see us being on a top 10 defense. As far as the offense go, we'll see how it goes. But I can see us being top 10s in both categories on both sides of the ball. So that's just me being a fan, me giving my opinion. I do believe we could make it to the playoffs this year. Not saying we're going to the Super Bowl or anything like that. But if we can beat some of these top dudes between week 1 and 6, if we can come out of there over 500, the rest of the schedule is pretty easy. I'll get into that later on in the month when it gets closer to the season. But as of now, I see the Titans making the playoffs. I'm taking all bets, especially with anybody that's from Indiana. I live in Indiana. If I got Indianapolis Colts fans that want to put some bread on any game that we play, please let me know. Get in my comments, get in my DM, and we'll make that happen. That go for anybody at work, anybody on this motherfucker. I'm rocking with the Titans. I believe that we're going to sweep their ass this year. We'll have a better record than them. So that's the main rivalry. Let's get the coach out the way. The Texans gonna be a tough. That's gonna be a tough road right there. We can't split with them, but I'm looking for the sweep this year, man. But that's all I got for this segment right now. Like I said, y'all keep tuning in. I'll give y'all updates every week on the preseason and what I'm expecting as the season going on. Hopefully, we can get out the rest of the preseason with no injuries and get to the season healthy and put on a show, man. Prove the AFC South that we are the best team in the division and